Hey, what's going on, guys? It is your good friend Matt. We're back again here today at the only place that we always can be. You already know that is Matt's Wrestling Collectibles right here on YouTube. And here today, guys, we are doing a video that I said we would do actually right in the time that I had this figure in front of you in the figure pickups video that it was shown off in. So I don't think that was the most recent. It might have been the one prior to the most recent, maybe episode 86 or 85. But in that episode, I had explained how this figure right here was delivered to me in a less than acceptable way. And in that video, I had said, hey, I kind of went back and forth with the person that I bought it from, and I didn't want to get into it in that video. I said, hey, we'll just make a video of it in and of itself. And of course, as you guys already know, I've been doing this a long time. I have been in the collecting game for well over 20 years. I mean, like I say it all the time, and I'm a broken record, but started collecting in 98, started the store in 2008, and we got out of everything, the store and collecting as a whole. I stopped doing that around 2018. So I had all of 20 years in just collecting, never mind the 10 years that I had in, doing sales, doing business with many of you who, some of you even watch me on here, like I said, and, some of you have done business with me through MERCARI. And I hope that you're always satisfied with what you get and the product that you receive. So with that being said, this figure here in front of you guys today, it is, of course, Rosa Mendez. It is the first time in the line figure for her, and I think it was also the last time in the line figure for her. As I have said many of times, sometimes your first is your last in this game. And unfortunately, when I purchased this, like I said, it got delivered to me in a very less than stellar way, for lack of a better term. It's just very unacceptable. So today, I am going to go over this, this story with you. Going to read this down to you, explain to you, what's going on here. And we're going to go over a few things and a few things in business as well, of course, that I've picked up over the years. Maybe it'll help you if you have an online store, whether it's eBay, MERCARI, wherever it is that you sell from, or if you are doing things in person. Of course, it's always very nice to have a good, reputation with people and with the customers that you are doing business with. So, neither here nor there, we're going to jump right into this now, and let's show this figure off just a little bit. So the first thing I want to say before we get into this figure was shown and advertised in perfect, almost near perfect condition in the photos that it was listed from. I would say, all of a 9 out of 10, maybe if we want to go a little bit lower, we'll say an 8.5 out of 10 in the, the scale of condition just off the packaging. And then this is what I received. So let's start right from the bottom and work our way up. So the corners are all beat up here. Now, just so you guys know, and I've said this many a times with my collecting, I have some figures that are sealed. I have some figures that are open in box. I have some figures that are open in box and missing accessories. I like having a package. It doesn't necessarily always have to be complete, but I like having the package. So with certain things, it's okay. With others, it's a little tough. So with this, I don't care so much that the corners are beat up, because it's just going to happen over time if you're moving these around or doing whatever. But as we get into it here, this front piece was caved in when I got it. So the W, for the WWE symbol here, it's pushed back. If you can see, I'm pushing and it's not even touching it. It's because it's pushed back so much. I was able to get that to pop out when I got it. I wasn't able to get this side to pop out because if you can kind of see here, this is all crunched in and it goes up. It's very tough, to see with clear plastic, but this whole corner, as you can see right there, is all crushed right in. This is all crushed in. This is very, very heavily, look at this, the bend in it. We go around the back, come up to the top here. This is all bent in, as you can see. This is curved right in, all bent around the corners. This whole side, you can see all the stress, like cracking, as I call it. And you can see, look how bad it is. And the reason being is the person who sent me this, they put it in a box that was smaller in width than what this figure is. So essentially, here's the figure, and here's the box they put it in. It was just very, very poor in the packaging, and I don't know. Sometimes it can be just little things can happen. And again, for anybody who's watching this, I have done this for so long that I understand the difference between seller issue and post office issue, or, whatever the carrier is that's bringing you your mail for, whether it's UPS, FedEx, whatever it may be. So there's a very big difference between knowing when something is a post office issue and when something is a seller issue. So always try to remember that when you receive an item. If an item is destroyed because the box, the actual shipping package is destroyed, it's usually a post office issue. But if the item is in a box that is clearly, no packaging, no nothing, and the box itself seems fine, you open it up and then you get something like this, well, then it's a seller issue most of the time. And again, like I said, there's so many different variables that can go into this. I mean, you could write scenario after scenario and you could play it out all day. But the issue with this is, as you can see, this piece is bent forward here. And that was because when they pushed this into the box that it was in, this piece came up and it was bent like this the whole time that it was being shipped to me. So this is where we follow up, and I will give to you what I said here, and I will be completely upfront and honest. I was very upset when I sent this first message, and I think I was even still very nice and cordial about it, even in my, my moment of anger, because this was just so far from what the original product was. But I'll read this one down for you. I said, "Hey, good afternoon. I'm just curious, as I can see you have made a lot of sales, just like myself. Did you think it was a good idea to put the item inside a shipping box that is smaller than the item itself? This thing is absolutely destroyed." And essentially there, I was just trying to tell them, I can see how many sales you've made on MERCARI. I know you can see how many sales I've made on MERCARI, so I can tell that this is not your first rodeo. This is not the first time that you've sent an item out. So again, do you think that this is a good idea, that you're shipping an item that is bigger than the box you're shipping it in? Doesn't make any sense. It logically makes no sense at all. So this was the immediate response that I got, and then we will break this down a little bit here as well. "Please file a claim if you feel you are in the right, or return it. I am not responsible for the handling of any parcel once it is sent. All our items fit in the boxes we send, so I have no idea what you're stating. Extra packing and double boxing is something you have to pay more for. In the present market, and expecting that level of service and protection, it is not the standard here or the standard anywhere now. You have to pay for extra protection. You paid low and a bargain price for this figure. It sells for loose what it sells for in this condition in the package. It's not getting produced again anytime soon. I don't mind you returning it. What you paid for shipping was spent on shipping. I am not profiting from the shipping, and it takes work and money to acquire any type of shipping box and or material. I get it that you are upset, but I did not destroy anything. Your issue is with UPS. I feel it is easier for you to come at me with your expectations than them. Thank you." Did you guys just hear me read that word for word? Are we all living in the Matrix together right now? So let's break this down, because this is where I get very upset. Anytime somebody is coming to you with a complaint, if your very first reaction to it is to either file a claim or return it, usually that is not a good way to go about business off the rip. You should be trying to fix the situation or resolve it in some way prior to the return or prior to anything like that happening, to make things easier, especially if you are doing this all the time. So we're going to continue to go into this message, because I feel like it only really does get worse. And here we go again. Not responsible for the handling of any parcel once it's sent. So yes, I will tell you guys the same thing. The second that I walk out of the post office and the item you paid for is at the post office, I'm not responsible for what they do. It is not me who is delivering it to your house. So yes, I do agree with that. I am not responsible for the handling of something, because if the guy who delivers your mail decides to get out of the truck and, throw the Tom Brady long ball bomb in the bottom of the fourth quarter, you're running out of time, you're going for a touchdown, the boy's throwing it from the street to your front doorstep, well, that's on them. I can't do anything about that. I'm not the one that made that decision. But this is where I get upset. All our items fit in the boxes we send, so I have no idea what you are stating. What I'm stating is the length and width of the item itself is bigger than the box you put it in. And it's not the length that is, because the height was not the issue, it was the width. Like I said, this person shipped this in a shoe box, but not like your standard shoe box. It's like one of those shoe boxes that you get like slides in, or like it's like a women's style shoe. They're not even a full-size shoe box. I mean, they're probably just barely big enough to where you could ship one of these from the vault figures in it. You know what I mean? And that would be pushing it. In the present market, and expecting that level of service and protection is not the standard here or anywhere now. You have to pay for extra protection. Nowhere in any of your listings does it state that I have to pay for extra shipping or protection, because you should be sending the item in a way that it will get there safely. There should be nothing about paying extra. So that right there already tells me I'm dealing with somebody who is very much not in the same mindset that I am in what's happening right now. Let's see. You paid a low and bargain price for this figure. It is worth what you paid. Basically, she's saying it's worth what I paid for this in the package as what it is loose. So you guys know, shipped, I paid about $25 for this figure. That's what I paid for it. About 25 bucks. On eBay, roughly, they are going shipped probably for about that $25 to $35 mark, somewhere in there. And this is another thing. Unless somebody is offering you less money, and even still then you wouldn't have the right to send it in a lesser than form, I paid exactly what this person was asking. So just so everybody knows, this item was listed for whatever it was listed for. I walked in, I clicked buy, and that was that. I didn't say, hey, would you take less? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you help me out? I want to be a collector, but I don't want to work for it, because you guys already know what goes on in this market. Oh my God, I really want this figure, but I don't do anything with my life, and I can't afford it, so why can't you help me be able to put it in my collection, because I need this. I need it so bad, but I don't want to work for it. So can you lower the price to help me out, because, I need it? No, that's not what I do. And that's not what anybody should do. People want to give deals. They want to do whatever. I do give deals. I do run sales. I do bundle offers. I do bundle shipping. I help people out all the time. My reviews speak for themselves. But it's just the fact that you're sitting here telling me that the price I paid for this item should dictate how I should receive it and how I should feel about how it was received. It's a very, very terrible way to do business, and it's absolutely appalling to even write something like this to somebody, that you should be okay with it because you paid a bargain price for it. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in probably the 20 plus years that I've been doing this. Next up is the fact that it costs money. She says it costs money to acquire shipping, boxes, and materials. Well, guess what, honey bun? If you're in this game and you want to be selling, you better have stuff to sell it in. You better have stuff to ship it in. You better be prepared to send out these items. Just so you guys know, I have a stack of boxes, actual shipping style boxes, corrugated cardboard, real, cardboard, not this, bullshit that this lady sent this in, because, sorry for swearing here, but it's just, as you guys already know, I try to always be very, very civil on this channel, very nice on this channel. You guys already know that I love and appreciate each and every single one of you, but how ridiculous to tell somebody that they're in business with almost 1,000 sales on one platform, never mind if they sell on any others, 1,000 sales on a platform, and you have the audacity, the absolute arrogance to sit there and say that shipping materials cost money. And then to sit there and say that the shipping cost was spent on shipping. Well, here's the sad part about that. It was a prepaid label through MERCARI, so it was already set through MERCARI. You didn't have to spend anything on shipping. When somebody sends me a thing or whatever, right? And if you guys don't understand MERCARI, let's say you buy an item from me. It's $25 with $10 shipping. Now it's $35 plus the taxes, fees, whatever. Let's just say the item comes out to 40 bucks. $25 for the item, $10 for shipping, fees and all that, another $5. And that's just me just trying to make round numbers here. You paid $40. Just so you guys understand, The $5 in fees is nothing for me. The $10 in shipping is nothing for me. And off the $25 of the item that you bought, they then tax me off of that. And I get whatever's left. Now, out of whatever's left, my shipping materials and costs come out of that, and the cost of the item comes out of that. So let's just say that 25 turns into 22. Now the shipping materials brings it down to like 19. Now after, whatever, let's say the item itself costs another 5. It's like, okay, well, now we're down to $14. And again, it's all part of the game. So to say that to somebody is just completely ridiculous. I mean, it's got to be one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. And that's kind of where this all goes. My response to her was this. I said, what I am stating, and this is basically what I've been already telling you guys, so I'm sorry to repeat this, but I said what I am stating is the item is wider than the box you shipped it in. Therefore, it was bent when you put it in the box. I won't argue. I have been doing this for almost 20 years. I paid the price you had it listed for, and the shipping is set through MERCARI with a prepaid label. You don't pay extra for an item to be sent correctly. It was not an issue of mishandling on the postal service. The item was damaged when it was shipped in a box too small for the item to fit in. And it was a shoebox. Not a good way to do business. When MERCARI asks you, will the item fit inside a shoebox? They don't mean ship it inside a shoebox. I said, I will leave you a 5-star review as I understand what it is like to get negative feedback, but for your own sake, maybe use a real box and one that is bigger than the item you are putting inside it. And as well, I would not suggest telling somebody the price that they paid is a good representation of why the item was shipped the way it was. Getting the item for the price you had it listed for was nothing less than me paying what you were asking. Not sure where either of those come together, but unfortunately, it doesn't add up on my end. I don't have the time to return something like this, as most people probably don't either. I am not going to go back and forth with you after this message. I hope that you will do better for the next person. Thanks. Have a great day. I mean, come on, guys. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely crazy sitting there trying to make it seem like we don't know, what we're doing here. It's not like we've never made a sale before. And I'll give you guys this right now. This person has 728 reviews. 728 reviews. And it looks like they're all, as far as I can see, 5 stars. See if I can come down to the review that I left. So I did leave her a 5-star review, but this is what I put for the review itself as far as, the actual, the blog, I guess you could do it, the little blog here. So I gave her a 5-star review as I promised, and she did give me one back because I didn't want to get bad feedback for purchasing an item that was sent to me wrong, because that would just be insane. I said, she shipped my item. And the reason why I know it was a woman is because she stated it into her biography here. So I said, she shipped my item inside a box that was smaller than the item itself. It was bent and destroyed upon arrival. Seller states that you pay extra for shipping like that, and I got it at a discounted rate. I paid the listed price for the item. I sell tons of figures and package them all the same with care. There is no additional charge. It was also sent in a shoebox, so it had no protection at all from being shoved in a box too small. Definitely wouldn't buy anything from someone who states about paying extra for extra care, but doesn't state that prior to sale. That's my whole point right there. You can't sit there and say that, you'll upgrade the cost of shipping and upgrade the shipping itself, the care in it, and not do, like, you got none of that listed anywhere. So it's just not something I would do any business with anymore. And for you guys to know, I don't like to badmouth, I don't like to bash, but just so you guys know, it is called Lil Shop of Toys. So Lil Shop of Toys. They are on MERCARI. I certainly would not do business with them ever again, because it is just crazy to ever state that to somebody after all of what was going on. So Either way, that is my little seller story of the day. I'm not going to continue to go into any more detail. We are, definitely going way past it here, 20 whole minutes. But a fun little video here. Just wanted to get that out onto the platform and to let people know that if you are selling, that if you are doing this, do better. Don't be that person. Do not ever try to tell somebody that because of what they paid for an item that they should be happy with the way they received it or anything like that. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, the only time you can ever state that to somebody, just because I do want it to be said, if somebody buys a loose figure from me, and I've had this happen to me one time on MERCARI, I had a guy buy a figure from me loose. The figure in good condition loose was selling for about $40 on eBay. I had mine listed for $15, and it was listed in fair condition. So MERCARI gives you 5 options: new, like new, good, fair, or poor. It was listed in fair condition. The guy purchased it and then left me a 3-star review to let everybody know that the figure was not whatever, not up to his standard because it was dirty or it had like some type of film on it. It felt like it was a film, which if anybody knows about the older TNA Marvel figures, as they did age, some of them did get that weird like film on them. And everybody knows this as well. You've seen it in my videos. When I take in lots of loose figures, hundreds, 200s, 300, however many hundreds, I wipe them all down. I clean them all with Lysol wipes. Every single one of them, top to bottom. So to sit there and try to tell me that, the figure's just dirty, it's insane. Either way, point being, that was an issue that I dealt with then, and that's why when you come to a situation like this, if you are buying a figure that is listed in fair or poor condition, do not expect to get something better than that. If you think you can make it work when you get it, that's great, but that's the only thing I can ever say about that when it comes to condition of an item. That's the only real exception I will go with. You can't be upset about items that are listed in fair or poor condition. You're getting exactly what you're being told you're getting. So either way, that is it for here, this video here today for the Rosa Mendez figure, for this MERCARI story, and all the fun that we have here on the channel. I'm glad you guys could stick around and hang out with me for a little bit, hear me rant a little bit, and have a little bit of a different video on the channel for once. But here we go again. It is another video in the book. And as always, right here, the only place we always can be, Matt's Wrestling Collectibles on YouTube. And if you haven't already, get over to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, leave me a comment. Tell me, have you had a bad selling experience? Have you had a bad buying experience? Leave it in the comments below. Tell me all about it. And I cannot wait to hear those stories, as well as I cannot wait to see you guys all in the next video. Stay safe and stay tuned.